All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am here with none other than Mr. Matt Stein. Matt, what's going on?
How much I appreciate the enthusiasm, but I'm guessing no one knows who I am.
No, everybody knows who you are now. You are a celebrity now that you are here.
All right, thank you.
So, Matt, the reason that I asked you to do this is because you have seen some absolutely incredible progress, especially over the last 3 months. And I wanted to talk about it because, seeing the pictures is one thing, but really getting to hear the story behind the pictures is another. So tell me a little bit about when we got started working together, what kind of brought you to me and what was going on in your life at that time that actually got us started.
So, man, okay, so I'm early 30s, and losing weight is something I've been trying to do for ever, at least 10 years. I was always terrified to see the number 300 on the scale, so I always teetered on that line. And then how I got to you, a really good friend of mine and a client of yours, had spoke with you first, and we've shared weight loss tips and workout tips and all that. So he knew that I was something I really wanted to do, but he also knew that my love of beer is something that I did not want to give up. And that was the biggest thing when Seth told me about you, is that you work beer into the program. And I'm like, well, I'll give it a shot. And worst case, like, I'm back to where I was. And we started working right before Thanksgiving. Of all times of the year, probably the worst time to start, but I felt it was the best.
Yes, it was, because it was the right time.
Mm-hmm. And it's something I've always said when people ask is, like, you can want to change, but if you don't really want to change, you're not going to. And I kind of, getting into my 30s, I started going in physicals and just trying to take care of myself because I, don't want to feel like absolute hot garbage. The older I get, the constant trying to just be a better human being.
All right. So you came to me. So when we got started, you were about 285, 290-ish.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You're in the mid 260s now. So you're about 25-ish pounds down.
Yep.
But the more impressive thing is we're seeing about somewhere between 11 and 15 inches that have come off your body, which is really more congruent with about 30 to 35 pounds of weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen a significant amount of fat come off your body. So, this kind of happened in two phases for you. So talk to me a little bit about, when you first came in, you were kind of taken aback because we didn't go so hard on the nutritional side, but I made you focus on all this weird stuff initially that, like that was the real parts of eating, how we eat, how we approach food, what we see when we're actually eating on the plate. Now, tell me a little bit about your initial reaction and tell me how that led to really the scale really coming down very quickly. So tell me a little bit about that.
So the biggest thing that kind of got me on board and excited to work with you was the first email you sent me. You're like, hey, track what you're eating throughout the weekend, take pictures and let me know. And I said, look, I am going to just run a clinic on tacos and beer. And your response was, yeah, whatever, that's just part of the program. Like, this guy fucking gets it. So from there,
and by the way, who hates tacos or beers? You're not American.
I was going to say communists, but they're not Americans, so it works. So I mean, from there, it just got me receptive to everything you said. I'm a very big believer in, like, get me to trust you, and then you could tell me that the sky is purple, and I'll follow you. So from there, you just kind of taught me to slow down. I was very much a eat super fast and eat as much as possible. I'd always joke around about eating until my back hurt, and that's something I've done on more than one occasion. Not like my proudest moments, but it was from there was the understanding that eating poorly and too much makes you feel like shit.
Yes.
And after you do eat correctly and slow for so long, and you just never feel bad again, when you do it, it's a very quick reminder of why you're doing what you're doing.
Yes.
Recently I went to a baseball game with some friends, and I drank a lot, and we ate just a bunch of random food, and the next day I felt like shit, and it was like instantly I just was like, all right, I got to get back to eating normal because I don't like feeling like that. And since we started working, I have not eaten to a point of being uncomfortable, and it's better that way. In our talks, I was always like, "Hey, he's the funny fat guy who's going to eat a bunch,"
Yeah.
and I love making people laugh, and I like bringing joy to people. So it was never like, I never thought of it as being a bad thing until it taught me how to correctly handle, approaching eating and correctly see things. And it was kind of a trip to go through.
Well, I mean, so let's dig in. Let's just kind of unpack that for a second. So, you said that you went to a baseball game and you ate a bunch of food and you felt like garbage, and your initial reaction was, I want to get back to the way that I've been eating. Right now, in retrospect, any dieting, you eat one way and you can't wait to go back to eating the other way. And in this way, we've kind of reversed it because we've connected how this makes you feel. Food does materially affect our energy and our digestion and all that stuff. And it's not necessarily so obvious because we don't think about food in that way. We don't think about food, period. And a lot of us will use it as a way to kind of ease a situation. And one of the things that we talked about was, you love making everybody laugh. You are hysterical. And if you didn't listen to me in Matt's podcast, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Hilarious. And not Matt being like, I was hilarious. Matt was
center of attention.
But you are like, you bring incredible joy to every single phone call. You bring incredible joy to every time that we chat and email. You bust my balls nonstop, but we needed to find a way not to do that with food. So can you unpack that a little bit for some of us? Because I was that guy, food was part of how I brought joy to a situation. So tell me a little bit about your journey with it.
The biggest thing was understanding so I have not stopped drinking. There's not gone a week that we've worked together where I have not had at least one beer. And I'm not saying I'm a badass, man. I drink all the time. It's just it's the balance, and it's
right.
I've gone out to eat at least once a week, sometimes more, and it's usually just understanding what you're going to put inside and what you're going to eat. So I go to lunch with my coworkers once a week. I give them one day. The rest of the lunches I go to the gym. But I said we have to plan where we're going because I want to look at the menu and I want to see what I'm going to do. So to get to that point, it was you helping me understand that, like, dieting doesn't mean you're counting calories. I have not counted a calorie since.
Right.
I've been diligent with weighing portions just so I can kind of understand how much is, the correct amount.
But remember, that was something you wanted to do.
Yeah, you didn't ask me to do it. I wanted to do it because, when you say eat 50 grams of protein, it's like, I want to know what 50 grams of protein looks like.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of quantifying how much I should be eating of what, I didn't realize one piece of bread is 20 carbs. And that shit adds up very quickly.
Yes.
If you eat noodles, like one cup of noodles is like 80 grams of carbs or something silly like that. And before you and I started, I was eating boxes of macaroni and cheese because that's American.
Yeah. And you're from Wisconsin. So.
Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin. So cheese is literally in everything I eat. And cheese is another one. And it's just understanding, like, I literally will melt a plate of cheese and eat it. And I just do it a lot less now, but it's still something that I really enjoy doing because it's like just understanding how much of this food will yield how much of this fat or carb or whatever, and then how that makes you feel in the long run. So it's being a little more analytic with my approach to eating instead of just like, I see it and I eat it. And, the other thing we talked about is if I'm going to drink, I don't eat bread, or I limit my carbs, and then I get my carbs from drinking, and it seems to have really leveled itself out in the long run.
Yeah. And these were nutritionally speaking, were these like difficult things to do?
No, not at all. And that's what makes it, like, how many years have I read the internet and tried, to lose weight doing this and that and the other thing? And I think the lowest I ever got was like 275, but it was like I sniffed a piece of bread and went right back to the roof. Yeah. So it was almost like too simple to be this simple.
Yeah.
You gave me all these recipes and, I modify them a little bit here or there for whatever reason. And it's actually stupid how simple it is.
Yes. but simple, but not always easy.
No, no, not at all.
Yeah.
And honestly, I find like I love fried chicken and chicken tenders, but I find the more that I do this, the less that I want to eat it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I just feel like shit afterwards. So
Yeah.
it's just like I'm now to a point where it's like, yeah, I don't need that because I'm not going to feel good.
So you're eating more intuitively. I feel like
Yeah,
you're more connected with your body than you've ever been.
yeah,
So we'll finish on this note because you're in the middle of your journey. So I want you to come back when we're a little closer to kind of see you in a couple months from now. But
okay.
let's just talk about your most recent blood test. And
I,
I'm gonna pull up some numbers. And you sent this to me today, which was absolutely perfect for this. So your cholesterol dropped from 200 to 161, which brought it, well within the normal range. And you were just teetering on the edge there. Your LDLs dropped, your HDLs dropped, your non-HDLs dropped, your cholesterol to HDL ratio dropped, your triglycerides almost are in half, your VLDL almost got cut in half. So, looking at results like that and seeing it, not just manifest itself in on the scale, but actually see your health improve. How does that feel?
it's I don't know, it's indescribable. I guess. I mean, I knew last year when I had that physical, I was quote unquote on a diet,
Yeah.
and I think that's when the last time I was down to 275. But and then I saw those numbers and I was like, well, I can't be right. And this year, I emailed you like the week of my physical, and I was like, I'm like excited to see what the hell has
Yeah.
happened here because, I literally ate a shitload of chicken nuggets last year. Like I love chicken nuggets, and I
Yeah.
still do. I just don't eat them anymore, or that
Yeah.
often, I should say. So it was like knowing the work and everything I put into it going into it. This year, I was really excited to see how things have changed. And my doctor, at least when you get your blood results, it's like if it's bad, it's yellow, and that whole line from last year was yellow. And this year, I had like 2 because my good cholesterol was a little low and my potassium was high. And I'm like, well, that's last year they're like, you might be pre-diabetic. You really need to get whatever that test is for that. And the lady called me and she's like, oh, you're doing great. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. And I'm like, freaking diabetic. I'm like, you're not helping here. But
This is incredible. Your cholesterol improved. You went from almost being at an A1C that put you at pre-diabetic,
that's what it is.
to not being. This is just incredible stuff, man. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so proud of you. Thank you so much for doing this. We can't wait to have Matt back on this. Once we're probably another 3 months, we'll see where you're at. We'll compare those pictures. Thank you so much, Matt, for doing this.
Thank
And we'll
you.
check back in with Matt in a couple months. Thanks, brother.
Mm-hmm.